Howdy, T-Lokes. I wanted to take a brief moment before this episode to let you know that there's going to be some slight disturbance throughout the episode. I was dog sitting my sister's dogs, and, well, needless to say, with a guest in the house, it was hard to get the whole pack to really behave. So there are some slight barks here and there, but really this is a great episode with a lot of good information, so stick around. Welcome to T-Lokes, Tucson's local business podcast. I'm your host, L. Connor McEverly, and in each episode, we embark on a journey to connect with the passionate minds behind the businesses and nonprofits that make our community thrive. Join me as I sit down with the owners, visionaries, and change makers who pour their hearts into shaping the local landscape. We explore the challenges, triumphs, and unique journeys that define Tucson's business community. From the corner coffee shop to the innovative startups and impactful nonprofits, T-Lokes is your window into the diverse stories that make our city special. Tune in and get ready to get connected. This is T-Lokes. Howdy, folks. Welcome to T-Lokes, your Tucson local business podcast. I'm your host, L. Connor McEverly, and here with me in the studio today is the owner of Tracey Prieto Weber Insurance and Financial Services here in Tucson. It is my pleasure to introduce to the show Tracey Weber. Tracey, how are you doing today?
I'm really good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and why don't you tell me a little bit about Tracey Prieto Weber Insurance? What is your mission? What set you on it?
Well, I've been in the insurance industry for 21 years.
All right.
The first 17 were I represented a captive agency. So I had one company I represented, excuse me. And in 2020, I left that company, went out on my own.
Nice.
And with the idea that representing one company was not doing my clients justice, I guess, in the industry, to be able to give them options and just a better experience altogether. You know, I did love the company I represented at that point, but things were changing and I could feel it, and to do better by them, frankly, I got tired of answering calls that were just complaining and I had nothing I can do to help them.
Totally.
And so I went off on my own and now represent a slew of companies, and I feel like I can help people better. And then with my former company, I was limited to the product that I could offer. And now really in insurance, I can offer everything. So everything from your property and casualty, like your auto and home and renters policies, to life insurance, health insurance, commercial lines. I never did that before. And so now I'm able to help a small business owner as well as, you know, your personal cars and that sort of thing. So that's how I ended up with my own agency and whatnot. So
Awesome. Well, first, I just want to say congratulations. It's always a big step to own your own business.
Yeah,
and so you've mentioned some of the insurance services that you offer. So you help small businesses, individuals. Who else?
Really, if you have anything insurance related, I'll be able to help you. Sometimes people come to me and they ask me, can you? And my answer is always yes. So no matter what you bring to me, if I don't have companies right now within my portfolio, I can go out and find something or some place to put you. And what's really nice about that is it allows me to be very competitive. So I can go out and try and find you the best rates and offer the best services at the same time. So I'm not limited like I would have been in the past. And it's always learning for me too, because no business is the same.
Right.
You know, in personal lines, you tend to see a lot of recurrence and such.
Right.
But in small business, everything's different and everything pertains to your company and how you have it set up. And so I'm able to help pretty much anybody. Anybody could be my client.
Nice. That's great. That's great. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense when you say it. Yeah, every business is different. So yeah, everyone's going to have different needs. That's great that you can help everybody, really. So, Tracy, we were talking before this episode, before this recording, and you were telling me how you wanted to kind of explain and talk through some of the issues or obstacles that people are facing when they're trying to get a hold of insurance. Now, I don't have much knowledge in the insurance space, so I just kind of want to toss it to you. Can you tell me a little bit about what some of these common issues are, why that's happening, and kind of how people can navigate that?
Sure. What I was describing or explaining before we went on air was the main reason I'd like to even sit here with you is because the industry has changed so much. And I wanted to express, maybe some educational tips
Absolutely.
on, what somebody can do or what they're experiencing, and that it's not uncommon. There's articles, there's been a whole bunch of stuff on the news talking about it, that insurance is considered to be in a hard market right now,
Hmm.
which I guess it's the hardest market that has ever been. Maybe
Ooh,
there was some in the early 70s, but obviously before our time.
right.
And what's happening is there's no insurance companies that are profitable. I think that
Ooh.
that probably makes us go, yeah, right. With all the commercials that we see and that kind of
Right.
thing, that how can insurance be unprofitable? But it is.
Hmm.
And what's happened is with all the changes in technologies, let's say with our cars and everything has bells and whistles and sensors and whatnot, right? So
Right.
when we used to be able to do a glass claim and it wouldn't count against us and that sort of thing, now everything costs an insurance company so much money.
Yeah.
Then there's unprecedented weather conditions, the worst mudslides, the worst fires, the worst snowstorms, the worst ice storms, the worst hurricanes, all these things that we hear of.
Right.
We have insurance for those things. And it's costing insurance companies so much money, and they could not have planned for it. There's actuaries that plan for these things, but everything is so, what would be the word?
Much more complicated.
Yeah, it's just unprecedented is it. That's the word, that no matter what they could have planned for, they couldn't have planned any better. And
Right.
so by law, you have to have a certain amount of money available for claims and whatnot, and
Mhm.
and they're just not cutting it. And so what happens is they want to increase rates. Well, they
Okay.
can't just increase rates in the places that had problems. They have to spread it out because those places
Right.
have already taken as much as they can take.
That
No
makes a
one
lot
can
of sense.
afford insurance in those areas if we put it all on them.
Right.
And so places like Arizona, where you think we don't have problems like that, we have to take rates as well. And so what's important is to have knowledge on whether you should make claims, what kind of claims be worth, I
Mm.
guess, making.
Interesting.
So I'll just give an example, like on house insurance. If you
Mhm.
had some shingles fly off in a microburst or something like that, that might happen here in Tucson.
Right.
I would say get some quotes, pay for it yourself. Definitely don't let the people who are in roofing companies come over and say, this isn't going to cost you anything. Let us fix your roof and make a claim. Talk to your agent and let them describe to you what is actually going to happen. Because when they say it's not going to cost anything,
Mhm.
that's not true. It's going to cost you for the next 5 years you make a claim, no matter how small or big it is. So I
Right.
like to say, keep your claims for something that you absolutely cannot afford. Big things. Your
Right.
roof flies off. Yes. Don't call me first. Make the claim.
Right.
But you have something smaller happen, maybe water damage behind a wall or something like that
Right.
hasn't gotten out of control, you know. So really what my job is and why I might be valuable to you is I'm here to educate,
Yeah.
really. I'm here to help. I'm here for your bottom line. And sometimes it doesn't feel like an insurance person is looking out for that because it feels like it's always getting increase,
Right.
our prices. But, you know, the industry is what it is. And if you have an agent that's looking out for you that can help you, And,
Yeah, then that's a huge
that's
boon.
important.
So that's interesting, kind of, and I think that's a really it's a very valuable perspective to see from an insurance company's perspective on why these rates are raising and kind of the difficulties that are coming with that, with more severe natural disasters, more complex technology that needs to be replaced. It's not just glass now, it's the sensors that go with the glass and all of the, electronic parts. So, seeing that problem from the insurance company scale, shifting the perspective to one of a client, what are people seeing on their end when it comes to these difficulties with insurance? Like definitely raised rates, but what else might be taking place?
Underwriting. So I don't know if you know what that is at all.
I have no idea.
So there are people in the insurance companies that look at a risk and decide if they want to take on that risk.
Okay.
And underwriting has gotten so tight now that unless you're the ideal perfect client, companies right now from the insurance side don't want new business unless you're the ideal client. So from our side as the consumer trying to find a better rate because our rates went up.
Yeah.
Now they're looking at us and saying, we don't like the tree that's too close to your house. We don't like that you made 3 roadside claims. We don't like that you have this particular kind of dog. We don't like all the things we don't like. And so it is more difficult for us to go out and shop and find someone who will be competitive with the rate that we just took, because we took an increase. Every single company has taken rates. And so now we're out shopping and we need to know how to look better to our next prospective insurance company. And so it's good. I'm a broker that I have many companies to shop you with.
Right.
But every company has their most ideal client. So that's why, I could be valuable in that way as well, because I know this particular company is okay with your teenage drivers. This particular company is okay with your dogs or whatever.
Right.
So it really is different from a consumer standpoint. Is, we used to think everybody wanted us, right? It's new business. Let me switch companies. It's easy. It's not easy right now at all.
I get you. So one thing I want to say is I've noticed you say may be valuable. You are definitely valuable. 100%.
Thank you.
Let's not put that to chance. And I guess I'm wondering too, so what do you do to help your clients navigate these issues?
So I think if you don't have an insurance agent and you're trying to do this on your own, it can be difficult because, first of all, you don't know how to insure yourself. We're looking for the cheapest price,
right?
Typically. And the cheapest price, the reason you have insurance is to protect what you've made for yourself, all of your assets and whatnot. Right. And so if you're not insuring yourself to the value that you've created, then you're doing yourself a disjustice.
Yeah.
Anyways, right? So if you don't know these things, then how are you going to insure yourself properly?
Totally.
Right? And then on top of that, there are tips or ways to make yourself look like a better client.
Okay.
And something like this would be in my agency, we only use A-rated companies. And A-rated companies, so same as, you're in school or whatnot.
Right.
If you're able to make claims, so you have a lot of reserves and that sort of thing, your grades are better. So we use A-rated. So if you have claims, they're going to get paid.
Right.
Right. But being with A-rated companies, they have different criteria. So, people with bad driving histories and that sort of thing might not fit into these kind of companies.
Right.
But there are things that you can do, like just the amount of coverage that you currently have, like liability coverage and that sort of thing. If you just bumped up one level, the price is really, really small to go from one level to the next.
Right.
And you wouldn't know that doing it by yourself or if your
Absolutely.
agent doesn't tell you these kind of things.
Right.
So bumping up one level, if you get yourself to 100,000, 300,000, let's say in the car insurance world, if we're at that level, we become more appealing to more companies.
Right.
And so next time around, so if you come into my agency and I see that you had low limits, I'll bump you up
Okay.
and potentially save you money today. But when you come to renewal and we get to look at it again, you might look a lot more favorable to a lot more companies now.
Right.
So I've just set you up for potential bigger savings in the future, even though right now you may have taken a small increase by, taking a higher coverage limit.
Right.
These are the kind of things that you don't know.
Totally.
But we sit here and we do this all day long, and
Absolutely.
we know how to help you best. And if you trust us, which I think you feel right away in our agency, is that we know what we're talking about. You can trust us. We answer our phones. We're here to help navigate through, the insurance world, because it can be overwhelming. And a lot of people just think the cheapest is the best.
Yeah.
And it's so not.
That is usually not the case.
Not at all. But we do want value, the best that we can get for the dollar.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what we bring to is some valuable information and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people do feel that, hey, I'm paying for it. I'm going to make the claim. Or a lot of people thought their insurance is like a maintenance program, like my roof is getting old.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I'm going to call and make a claim.
Right.
Because my roof is leaking now.
Yeah.
Well, a roof leaking isn't a reason that you can use your insurance. It had to be the wind blew off the shingles, which caused the rain to come in and leak.
Right.
And so misinformation in that way too. Like, I've been paying for 20 years. I've never made a claim. And so I want to use it because my fence is getting broken down and, I'm going to call the insurance company about it.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. And roofs definitely don't work like that. Roofs are the biggest place that an insurance company will look and say, yeah, your roof is 25 years old. We're not replacing your roof. Wow. And that's a common one that I really have to educate clients on because, people get upset.
Definitely.
They're paying forever. Something's happening now.
Right.
And they feel like the insurance company should have to pay for it.
Right.
And really, if you read your policy, it's a covered peril plan, which means it lists the reasons that you can make an insurance claim.
Gotcha.
And maintenance is not one of them. That's a common misconception.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's interesting. When my wife and I bought the house that we live in, we had roof issues. We didn't even consider to go through insurance. It seems like that was probably the right thing. So I guess like from one of those standpoints, maybe as a consumer, and something I'm just kind of thinking about, right, is like when you have something like you mentioned, like a water pipe behind the wall, and there's like a little bit of water damage, and maybe it's not too bad. Obviously it seems like it would be nice to get insurance to cover it, right? And take care of that. And there's nothing out of your pocket immediately. But things, if I'm understanding correctly, does it kind of mean like if you were to make a claim on that water damage and maybe you don't pay out of pocket immediately, your rates would increase. And then you do kind of end up paying out of pocket over a longer span of time. So maybe it would have been worth the, let's say $1,000 to fix it immediately rather than paying thousands more when your premium increases. Is that the right term?
That is exactly right.
Look at me go.
Basically, you will always have out of pocket because you have a deductible.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So when a client calls me and says, should I make this claim? This is what's happening. What you have to look at is how that's going to affect my rates for the next 5 years. So when you make a claim, it stays on your record for 5 years.
Wow.
And so not only the company you're with is you're going to definitely take an increase.
Right.
But if I try to shop you, now you don't look like the greatest client,
Right. Because
right?
those other insurance companies will see that you've made these claims.
Yes, and they don't want you anymore because now you're not the perfect client.
Gotcha.
So there's that as well. It eliminates the opportunity to go out and try and find somebody who will offer you a good rate, and then your current company is definitely going to take rates with you as well. So you're going to see that increase for the next 5 years.
Wow. So kind of to put it in a nutshell, if someone were to come to you and they're having issues, you help them by looking at the short-term and the long-term costs of the issues that they are going through.
Correct. And on top of that, I'm a networking gal. Like, I'm out here knowing people and that sort of thing. So you come to me and say, hey, I have this water leak, or I have this roof issue, or I have this. Here's a name of a few people that can come out, give you an estimate, give you an idea of what it actually is going to cost you.
Right.
Take into consideration your deductible.
Mm-hmm.
Take into consideration the increase that you're going to take in the next 5 years. After all of that is considered, if you want to make the claim, I'm here to help you and show you how the process is going to go, be your middleman if need be. But at least you're educated and you know what's going to occur, and not after the fact. Like, I didn't know. I had a client, actually, he wasn't my client when he did this, but he called just because a pool pump of his went out.
Okay.
And he called his insurance company just to ask if it was covered.
Okay.
That call put something on his record, a claim on his record. It's a no payout claim because they said, no, it's not covered.
Right.
But is now you open that door. And so when I did try and shop him and bring him into my agency, he didn't look as appealing because it's a red flag that there could be something out there that wasn't taken care of. So these kind of things, you think, I'm going to call my insurance company and ask. No, you don't call the insurance company. You call your agent and ask.
You call Tracey Weber and you ask.
Call me and ask. Even if I'm not your agent, I'd be happy to steer you in the right direction.
Well, that definitely leads to my next question, which is, what are some issues that someone could be facing that are signs that they should reach out to you?
Right. Well, first off, if you have an agent and they don't answer their phone, that's a big one, right?
Gotcha.
Because I think our jobs are to help you. We're not just here to get you the best price. We're here to help you.
Right.
And so if you don't have someone that answers their phone, that's a big, big deal. We're a little bit lost as consumers. I don't know what to do.
Definitely.
You're my agent. Where are you when I need you? So that would be something. What was your original question, though? I'm sorry.
Just what are some signs or obstacles that someone may be facing that is a sign that they should reach out to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that is a big one, but I think often it's just stuff comes up and we don't know who to turn to.
Right.
And that's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
And we're not just here to, shop rates.
Yeah.
But that's typically why we get called, right?
Of course.
Is you saw an increase and now I'm upset.
Right.
What's good even in our agency is we don't lose a lot of clients because our clients are taking increases as well. It's not like everyone except Tracey Prieto Weber agency is experiencing this. No, our clients do as well.
Totally.
But our clients also know that we're doing what's best for them.
Right.
And so they don't leave us.
Yeah. You're not just giving them the low price that they want. You're, as you kind of mentioned before, you're helping them protect the value that they have built for themselves.
Correct.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
So you've heard it. If your insurance agent isn't answering the phone, call Tracey. Mm-hmm. So Tracey, we are reaching the end of our time here today. I know for a fact that there are some listeners right now who are more curious. They want to hear more about your insights. They want more information. They want help with their insurance. Where can they go to get in contact with you?
Well, the phone is the best,
Okay.
honestly. If you pick up the phone and call us, some people don't like that. We
Right.
accept text as well. So our phone number is 520-207-3967. You can call or text. You can shoot us an email, obviously. My personal email is tweber@iigroupinc.com. And then you can also visit our website, but calling is honestly the best.
Awesome.
And you can find me at www.prietoweberinsurance.com.
And folks, we'll have all the contact links for Tracey Weber in the episode notes, so check there for a quick reference. So, Tracey, the last question, the question I ask everybody is, what is one thing out of the many that you love about Tucson?
About Tucson?
About Tucson. About our little
I
neck of
love,
desert.
I've been, wasn't born here, but I was raised here, and I love that it feels like a small town. Like I run into, some people don't like that about Tucson, right? But
Yeah.
I run into people and I love it. I can see somebody from a long time ago and whatnot. And so it is just a very comfortable spot,
Yeah.
obviously. God, I love so much. I love a sunset here. I love the
Yeah.
mountains here. I love the weather here. I was
Yeah.
driving with the top down on my way here. So it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Tucson's my home.
I love Tucson. It's
hmm
one of my favorite places I've lived, for
hmm
sure. Well, Tracey, thank you so much for coming in today and learning the listeners up on the problems or the issues going on with the insurance industry right now. Thank you so much for making the time for talking with me today, and have a great one.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And that's a wrap for another episode of T-Lokes, your go-to podcast for uncovering the untold stories of Tucson's local businesses and nonprofits. A big thank you to our incredible listeners for joining us on this journey of connection and discovery. I want to offer a huge thank you to Tracey Weber for coming on the show and describing more about the issues and obstacles going on in the insurance industry right now. Show them some love and check out their links in the episode notes. A huge thank you to Louis Sanders at Soundhouse Publishing for making our unforgettable podcast theme music. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay connected with Tucson's vibrant business scene, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback is invaluable, and it helps us continue bringing you engaging conversations. As we wrap up, remember that T-Lokes isn't just a podcast, it's a community. Let's keep the conversation going on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or our Discord channel and share your thoughts, suggestions, or even recommend a local business or nonprofit you'd like to see featured on the show. Thank you once again for being a part of the T-Lokes community. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep supporting the heartbeat of Tucson. Toodaloo.